Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 34, another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. So as ever, let's crack on. First one is the Spacetop. This is an augmented reality laptop. It gives you a virtual 100-inch screen. It does all the things that you've probably seen Apple Pro trying to get you to do, but this does it all in one device. It uses the X-Real AR glasses. They already exist. They are wired, so you won't be walking around your room doing stuff. But it is Chromium based. It has its operating system of its own, and it is $1,900 if you can get your hands on one. Lasts for 7 hours as well, so there you go. Nice. This is from the University of British Columbia, and it is art. It is the Aerosol removing Tapestry, and it's trying to solve a problem that's putting air quality really in the heart of the room. And normally it's part of a filtration system and it's part of air conditioning, and if you don't have it, then it doesn't really happen. So this actually puts it, as I say, right into the front of your room as paintings. So it is a demo. It is, of course, a university project, but these things you can put on the wall. It silently filters all of the air, removes pollen, bacteria, particles, that sort of stuff. So really interesting solution, really like that. How do you put filters in the middle of the room? You disguise them as paintings. I kind of like that. This is really interesting. This is water-powered electronics-free dressing. Electronics-free dressing is the important bit there. Now, electrotherapy, it turns out if you electrify a wound, it stimulates healing and closure. And there's lots of studies that show you this is absolutely true. However, normally it uses batteries and bits and bobs and kit. This plaster, sticky wound dressing, you stick on and you get a wet finger and you dob it on it, and it's got all the stuff in there. Essentially, it's got salt, it's got a little bit of silver, it's got a little bit of magnesium in it, but that creates a battery, 1.5 volts of charge, that then obviously promotes healing, promotes wound closure. So that's kind of cool. There's a little indicator on it that tells you when it's wet enough, so it's sort of foolproof, but there you go. Lots of studies have shown that is a cool thing. It also, in the future, they've shown this kirigami-inspired thing, which is sort of like a fractal shape. And what you can do is you can put it on a wound and it will then deform to 3D shape. So it'll either expand or contract, and therefore still the electrode will work in this kind of wiggly, interesting shape. So really like that. You might see wound dressings of the future that you need to wet, and then they make some nice electrical current. This is the Iron Cub 3, which is a bit of a pun because basically, or a play on words, because it comes from the iCub 3, which is the robot they're using here. And this is from the good folk at the Italian Institute of Technology. Been a favourite of mine for a few months now. Some really weird projects coming out of there, so I really like this one. It's a bit of an anticlimax of a demo video, but I thought I'd show you it anyway. So what they've got is a humanoid robot with 4 jet engines on it, little miniaturised jet engines, and they are working out how to make this thing fly in the air, a bit like Iron Man, hence Iron Cub 3. So why? They're talking about things like disaster situations where it needs to fly in and fly out of situations, or move about, or inspect interesting but dangerous scenarios. But there you go. So that's the demo you're seeing in front of you. They're putting a lot of work into the algorithm that allows it to fly and then walk and then fly and then walk. And apparently that's taking a huge amount of effort. But if you want to know what a robot looks like with 4 jets on it, it looks like that. Procreate, if you're into your drawing and your artisty stuff and you have an iPad, you will have probably come across Procreate. They've made a pretty big stand this week against AI. AI is not our future. Pretty punchy. Generative AI is ripping the humanity out of things. Built on the foundation of theft, the technology is steering us away towards a barren future. Brilliant. So they basically said no to AI. We will not put any AI. It might be the wrong thing to do right now, they say, but we are standing by it because we think it's the right thing to do. And even better, their CEO, James Kuder, went into a video and basically opened it with, like, I really effing hate generative AI. So I'm seeing this more and more where companies actually are setting out their stall to say they are human first, ideas first, humanity first, creativity first. So that's really important. So interesting, Procreate, well done, very public. Let's see where that goes. If you're an artist, you will love this, no doubt. Table tennis. This is the World Table Tennis Organization. They put the tournaments on around the world. And I saw this really interesting demo or analysis video of table tennis. Not really seen anything like this before. And being from a bit of a sports tech background, I thought this was really interesting. Love this. So basically just locking on the ball and then editing the video to suit. But then obviously putting some speeds on there, working all that out as well. Just really, really interesting. You can see going from 15 miles an hour to 30, and then I think it's this one here goes from sort of 20 mile an hour to probably 120 miles an hour, kilometers an hour. So I thought that was really interesting. This is from the World Table Tennis Tournament in Rio. But there you go, 28 million views this clip has got. So it's obviously lots of people find it really interesting. Bringing new people into the sports by showing them new and interesting novel views, I think is really interesting and laudable. And finally, we have InZoi. So this InZoi is a South Korean sort of Sims competitor. Pretty featured, it's out on a demo right now. It's on Steam. You can download it if you do that sort of thing. But what I thought was really interesting was their Sims creator. You can create your own self as your Sim. So they give you this Sims creator. You can choose all the styles. You can then start morphing the features. As you can see here, this is a pretty terrible example though. But you can, it's pretty much, if you're a 3D artist, this is a sort of tool you would have loved a couple of years ago. But what I thought was really interesting on Reddit is lots of people are creating their own Zoi, as they're called, and they're creating, you know, Emma Watson, you know, Severus Snape and all that sort of stuff, Billie Eilish, obviously The Rock, etc., etc. It's worth having a look what people are doing with it. I don't know exactly what the copyright issue would be around this, but there you go. I just thought that was interesting. I thought I was going to report about the character creator, but then got sucked into all of these weird looky-likey celebrities. But there you go. Interesting. Hopefully you thought that was interesting too. If it was, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and I'll see you next week.